Get ready for easy and affordable rustic farmhouse Christmas DIYs. You can finish these in about 15 minutes and give your home that rustic farmhouse charm. And as always, DIY treats. Welcome to my channel, Craft, Eat, Repeat. Hi guys, it's Aneka and welcome to my channel, Craft, Eat, Repeat. So today I have some quick, easy, and affordable rustic farmhouse Christmas DIYs for you guys. I was really excited to see all the Christmas decor going up at Dollar Tree, Dollar General, even the Target dollar spot, and I could not wait to get crafting. So for this year, some reason, even though I'm actually home more, I actually feel I have less time between virtual schooling the kids, getting the house unpacked. Just the holidays really seem to be creeping up on me really quickly. So I was excited to think of some very quick DIYs that you could do in 10 to 15 minutes that would be easy to put together but gorgeous for your home. So I really hope you enjoy them. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you like what you see, I would be so grateful if you would subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and when it's over, head down to the comments and let me know which DIY was your favorite, or of course, you could just say hi. Also, don't forget to find me on all my social media platforms, especially with the holidays coming up. I love to see what you guys are crafting, what you're working on, and it just gives me a little smile and inspiration. So thank you to everyone who tags me. I see it, and please know that it just makes my day whenever I see one of your projects. Okay guys, it's time to craft. So for my first DIY, I'm going to use these ornaments from Dollar Tree, these pine cones from Dollar General, and these wood beads that I have on hand. I buy them in bulk on Amazon. I will link them below in case you want any. And of course, twine, one of my favorite things to craft with. Now I'm just going to start by tying off a little loop at the end of the twine. And when I started this garland, I wasn't sure the number of pine cones I was going to use, so I started out just using one. I did go back and add some at the end. Of course, with any garland, you can really make it your own. Just do whatever pattern you feel. To make it easier to string everything on, I'm just going to put a little bit of painter's tape at the end of the twine, and I'm going to start adding my decorations. Now for my pattern, I did 5 wood beads and then a pine cone, followed by 5 more wood beads and then another pine cone, and then 5 more wood beads and one of these beautiful ornaments that I got from Dollar Tree. Like I said, you'll see that final sequence at the end. I did kind of change my mind up as I was going, but that's the fun of these, you know, you can really personalize them and make them whatever you want them to be. In order to put my ornaments on a little more closely to the twine, I did just cut a loop in them and then tie them off instead of just hanging them from the loop that was already there. And I did the same thing with the pine cones. Put a little music on, and by the time you've listened to 3 or 4 of your favorite Christmas carols, you'll be done with this beautiful rustic garland that you can place anywhere in your house. So for my next quick and easy Christmas DIY, I'm going to use part of this frame that I got from Dollar Tree, but I'm actually going to use the frame in a future Christmas DIY, so be on the lookout for that. For today, I'm just going to use the inner part of the frame to make a rustic Christmas tree. Now I got some of this nautical rope from the Dollar Tree, and just a tip, when you go to Dollar Tree and get your nautical rope, there are several different textures and tightnesses of the rope that you'll find. So if you're going to be doing a project where you need more than 1 pack of rope, make sure that your rope all looks generally the same so that your project will come out looking pretty uniform. Now I started by just wrapping my rope around this triangular piece of cardboard, but I realized as I went that the best way to hold it on with the hot glue is to put a fair amount of glue on each side of the triangle and then a line across the back of your cardboard. And I just took my nautical rope and wrapped it around and around until I got to the end. Now, this was a really great way to use up some of my scrap pieces of nautical rope that I had left over from other projects. I just made sure to always start on the back if I ran out of rope and add another piece on. And I just continued around like that until the entire thing was covered. Now, I did use some scraps, as I said, but I think I probably used about 2 to 2.5 full packs of nautical rope. Make sure you buy 3 just so you won't run out in the middle of your project. And once I reached the bottom, I just used a little hot glue to secure the end of my rope to the bottom of my rustic little rope Christmas tree. I think this would be an adorable little Christmas tree to have in a coastal farmhouse themed home, or really any kind of rustic home that you have. I just love the texture of that rope and how this triangle makes this sweet looking little tree. Now I just grabbed some picks and other decorations from ornaments, also from Dollar Tree, and I just added them onto my rope Christmas tree to add a little bit of color and different texture. I also grabbed one of these garlands from the Dollar Tree, and I thought it looked perfect to wrap it around the rope to give a little pop of color and a little holiday feeling. I added my little pick on top, and in just about 10 minutes, I have an adorable little rustic Christmas tree. So last year I made some of these adorable little gnomes using the Dollar Tree mini Christmas trees and one very pink Christmas tree that I got from Target Dollar Spot. That one was especially for my girls. And this year I wanted to kind of add to the gnome family, and I realized that I had a Halloween decoration left over and I decided to turn it into something for Christmas. So you guys, if you're like me and you walk into Dollar Tree and you walk out with like 50% more than you anticipated buying when you walked in, don't worry. Some of those things you can reimagine for the next season, and that's exactly what I did here. For this DIY, I'm going to use this pumpkin wreath that I got from Dollar Tree. I was really glad to be able to use it for something else because I just did not get around to using it for the fall and Halloween season. So I'm going to start out by taking all of the decorations off of the wreath form. And this was really easy to do just by snipping it in 1 or 2 places and taking it off the little hooks that are all around the form. Once it was empty, I was ready to turn it into a cute little Christmas gnome. To make his beard, I'm going to use this mop head, also from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to pull all of the pieces out of the mop head, and I decided to cut them in half. Of course, if you want your gnome to have a super scraggly beard, you can go ahead and leave them long. Now, just using some hot glue, I'm going to attach the strings to the bottom rim of the hat. And I just did this little by little with the hot glue, making sure to put them right next to each other. After that was done, I did go a little bit down the sides of where the pumpkin used to be and a little bit up on the hat. This was just to make sure that I covered those sides because that pumpkin was round. A little bit of the form was peeking out from the sides. And I did the same thing on the other side of my wreath form. Now, to make the beard nice and thick, I'm just going to go right over that same spot with more of the strings from the mop, making sure that if there are any gaps or anything like that, I put a string in that spot to make sure that you cannot see through to the wreath form. And now it's time to make his hat. Now I actually think this would be super adorable just using one of the scully caps that they sell at Dollar Tree, or maybe one of the scarves you could use as fabric, but I decided to use this ribbon that I have. I love the buffalo check pattern and how it's in the red and kind of burlap look. I thought that was perfect for the rustic feel that I was going for with these DIYs. So I just used a little bit of hot glue and I started at the rim of the hat, and I'm going to wrap it around 2 to 3 times to make that bottom rim of his hat. I made sure to use a decent amount of hot glue to hold everything in place. Of course, if you're using a scully cap or even a scarf, you wouldn't need to use quite as much glue as I did to keep this ribbon in place. Once that was done, I was ready to jump up to the top of his hat. Now, because of the curve in the hat, I did have to once again use a lot of hot glue to hold everything where I wanted to be, but that was really easy because anywhere I put some hot glue, there was probably a little piece of ribbon coming right along after it to hide any glue that I put on there. After I finished wrapping, I also went back afterwards and put a few dabs of strategically placed hot glue to hold everything in place. Once I made it down to the rim of his hat, I just tucked everything in, gave it a little more hot glue, and I had a sweet little gnome hat. So to decorate a little bit, I just used one of these red bells, which came in a 9-pack, I believe, from Dollar Tree. I have these all over my craft room. I'm sure I bought multiple packs in the past, so I'm always glad when I can use up something like that. And for his nose, I used one of these gold Christmas tree ornaments, and I just glued it right in between his bushy beard. And that was it. This was such a quick and easy DIY to do. After I gave his beard a little trim, he was ready to go up on the wall. Next up is the perfect DIY to use for those of you who like to do vignettes or tiered trays. This is a little mini milk jug that I found at Dollar General, and I'm also going to be using some of these ornaments that I found at Dollar General. I loved the rustic feel of them, and I just wanted to put them together in a sweet little decoration. So I cut the hangers off of the ornaments, and because this one had a little hole in it, I decided to cover up the top of the ornament shape with some twine. I just put a little dab of hot glue, wrapped it around, and then secured it onto the back. Next, I'm going to use some of these wood dowels that I got from Dollar Tree, and this is just to give these ornaments some height so that when I put them into my milk jug, you can still see them over the edge. To do this, I just used my X-Acto knife to poke a small hole in the bottom. I put my dowels into my ornaments, and then I used some hot glue to secure it on there. And for this metal one, I just placed the dowel with some hot glue, but be careful for your fingers. The hot glue will heat up your ornament, and you definitely don't want any injuries while decorating for Christmas. Now I did end up placing a little bit of floral foam in the bottom of my milk jug, and then I just pressed my ornaments down into the jug. You can do this in any configuration that you like. Just play around with it and see what looks good and what seems fun to you. Then I used some little scraps of Dollar Tree garlands that I've gotten in the past, different picks. This is a great way to use up any of those old Christmas decorations that you just have laying around, cluttering up your craft space. Stick them into a little farmhouse milk jug and see how they come to life and just make any space look a little more festive. And for the last quick and easy Christmas DIY, we're going to take this canvas frame, remove the canvas, and just use the wood frame that is left behind. I'm going to use some of this Rust-Oleum American Walnut stain on this frame, but of course, you could leave it the color that it is. You could paint it red, black, whatever color you want. Now, some of these frames do have holes in them, so you'll have to look out for that, but I really didn't mind for this one because I'm actually putting this up on a high shelf and I know that you won't be able to see it. Now I'm going to use some of these decorations that I got from Dollar General. They had so many cute ones to choose from. I'm going to use these 2 snowflakes that say, "Let it snow." I'm going to just snip a little hole in the middle of the loop so that I can tie it to the height that I want to on my frame. And once I've gotten both of my ornaments tied on, I'm just going to use a little dab of hot glue to hold them into place. After I've done that, I'm going to go back and grab more of my scraps of garland, pine cones, picks, anything that I kind of see on hand that looks cute, and I'm going to use that to decorate my little hanging ornament frame. Now, one thing I can say about the dollar store garlands is that they are very bushy, so I like to give them a little trim before I put them on my DIYs. This does make for a huge mess, but I think it looks a little better in the end. And once I've done that, I'm just ready to decorate. Okay, out of all of those quick and easy rustic farmhouse Christmas DIYs, I would have to say that my favorite is definitely that garland. Now, I don't know if it's because it involves wood beads and twine, which are 2 of my very favorite things to craft with, but I love how it has a little bit of farmhouse with the beads. It's got that rustic feel with the pine cones. It was so quick to put together and I honestly think it is so gorgeous. So that one is definitely my favorite, but head down to the comments and let me know which was your favorite. So for today's treat, I have a very quick, very easy DIY treat that is perfect for the lunch boxes for your little ones. It's perfect for if your grandkids come over and you just want to put together a quick snack for them. Or if you're like me, it's good for grown adults who just like to smile at cute food. So I make these for myself and I do not feel bad about it one little bit. Just a note, I did have my 3 little elf helpers helping me on this DIY treat, which means lots of bumps on the camera and the table, so please excuse that, but I do hope that you enjoy the treat. Okay guys, it's time to eat. So what's a rustic farmhouse Christmas without reindeer? We're gonna make some out of food. I'm gonna melt some chocolate to use as glue. Of course, you can always use cookie icing that hardens as it sits. That will work too. I'm going to get these little chocolate glazed donuts as well as a pack of M&Ms. I'm going to take all the red M&Ms out for this project, leaving the rest of the M&Ms for me. Now I'm just going to use a little toothpick and spread my chocolate glue on the back of my red reindeer nose. And I'm also going to use it to glue on some eyes. Now, I just have a big pack of candy eyes that I like to use for projects like this. They have them a lot around Halloween time, so if you're watching this and it's still in the fall, be sure to check your local craft stores or the cake, cookie, and baking aisle in your grocery store for candy eyes, because believe me guys, you will use them all year round. So just pick up a big pack of them. We're going to stick our eyes right onto our reindeers, and then we are going to be using pretzels to make their antlers. So you're just going to break half of the pretzel off, stick it right down into your donut, and do the same thing on the other side. And that's it. A quick, easy, rustic little Christmas reindeer. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed all the DIYs I had for you today. Don't forget to head down to the comments and let me know which one was your favorite. Give this video a thumbs up, and please guys, share it with your friends. And I just want to take a moment to thank you to everyone who does give this video a thumbs up, everyone who shares, and everyone who leaves a comment. It does so much to help my channel, and I really am grateful. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time when we repeat it all again.